boys, it doesn't get much better than that. Every time this team comes back from some international break, I expect everything to change because maybe it was just a fever dream, right? Maybe this will never last, but somehow it continues to happen over and over again, and it's amazing. This was such a well-rounded performance, and I'm excited to get into my rankings, but first, I want to get into a little of the tactical stuff, so I'll show this clip from the big up stream I did earlier, so you guys get a better idea if you didn't watch the game or kind of what to take tactically from the game moving forward. All right, so to start off, what I think was most significant to me is just how often Barcelona ran in behind. I think Lewandowski had several chances in behind. We saw even Pedri making those run-ins here. For those of you guys that don't know, by the way, this is Big Up. This is where I do all my streams. Link will be at the top of chat. If you guys want to watch a watch along, see me get more into tactics, that's where I'll be able to do this. The amount of runs in behind we were able to do with Sevilla because they were open. They tried to press us, and this is what happens. 5-1 is what happens when they try to play open, and that might happen against Bayern because Bayern will likely try to play we'll try to play more open than we will see from Madrid. Another big thing I want to point out too is the combination between Fati and Balde over here on the left. Was it like the best thing I've ever seen in my life? No, but it was good enough, and it was better than I think we saw with Ferran when he played over here, because when he played over here, he was basically a striker. But it looked solid enough for me, and it looked like something we could work with. And Balde was decent. He beat his man a couple times. He inverted a couple times after Fati came out, and he looked pretty dangerous. Mostly, we saw Lewandowski a lot here. Pedri running in behind, Rafinha running in here. Fati doing it, Koundé running in as well. There was just a ton of space for excitement and a lot of stuff happening. We saw Pau Victor come on and do the same thing. So we play a very high line, and that's not something new to us, but today, Sevilla were really trying to expose it because they were pressing us pretty high or higher than, is probably smart, because that's, I think, part of the reason we won 5-1. They held that high line for the most part incredibly well. I think there were 2 or 3 big offsides calls because there was the pen, and then I think there was a goal. The pairing of these guys have an understanding that is very, very impressive of when to go in, when to not do it, and Inigo did a decent job cleaning up. Iñaki Peña did an interesting job coming out today too. There was also one moment I want to give credit to Balde for coming back and scooping a ball up right here that really could have been a really dangerous option there. So that's kind of what I saw from this game. Significantly, I think Casado was fantastic, defending, taking people down over here, and winning the ball back, rotating it between Kubarsi and Inigo. It was exciting to watch these guys, and I'm just excited to see more. And so, yeah, there is a little bit more than that. I'm sure you guys can point it out in the chat, in the comments below, what I got wrong or what I may have missed, and I'll try and pin or like the comments that I think are most interesting. But there are a few things I do want to point out, too, before getting into the ratings, and that's Hansi Flick did a great job managing the minutes for these guys. It was just a most ideal situation, taking out the guys that were most vulnerable or played the most during the international break, that needed the break the most, and he took out Pedri, Rafinha, and Lewandowski, and Yamal when he needed to. And he actually took Fati off as well, too, which I thought was good. Inigo Martinez probably could have gone off, but hey, he seemed fine because there was a weird little injury thing, but he was fine. Great job from Hansi, and I think overall, great job from the entire team. I don't think there was one standout worst player. I don't think there was one standout best player. I think there could be 1,000 comments on this video, and everyone could choose a different man of the match. Obviously, that's not possible, but that's how good most of this team was. It was very impressive to watch, and I'm excited to get into the rankings because of that. So starting off, Iñaki Peña, fine. I really don't think he was that bad. Conceded 1, but realistically, I think it was a very easy chance for the Sevilla striker, and I don't think it was entirely his fault that it all occurred. I think he did a pretty good job coming out of his box, even though it concerned me a couple times with some weird headers. I think a 7 is fair. I really think it's fair. I don't think he was spectacular today. He did get his hands to a dangerous cross at the end of the match there. So, yeah, fine. Fine overall from him. And if that's going to be him, that's going to be him. There were also apparently some statements that he's going to start against Bayern, which might be less than ideal. Maybe Chesney's not available, or whatever. Maybe Tech just isn't as good as Iñaki Peña is right now, which whatever. Because whatever happens, this defensive line has been pretty solid this entire season. Starting with Balde, I think he had a couple really important interventions, like I said in the tactics talk, but realistically, I think he was better going forward than he has been this entire season. And a lot of that probably had to do with Ansu Fati. They have a very good relationship. They're very close. And we could see that today. Was it spectacular? No. But I think there was more threat on that left side than there has been, at least with Ferran Torres there this season. So I'm optimistic for what could come going forward. I don't know if it's going to be spectacular. Balde still isn't the best at crossing. But with that defensive intervention and his crossing abilities, or his ability to kind of almost create something, or at least combine with Ansu, I think he deserves a 7. Now, Inigo, who's my MVP of the backline, not my man of the match, I thought he was really good. I'm going to give him an 8 just because I think he was there when the team needed him to cut off a pass in behind, something like that. He was good on the ball today. He was really good. He was also my MVP of the season so far. I think he's been that significant. He's probably helped leading this back line and having such a good high line, which is the most important part of this game, because it could have been much different. Because Kubarsi could have conceded a pen if it wasn't offside. Sevilla also scored another goal that happened to be offside, so it could have been a different story if this high line wasn't so good, which wouldn't be the case if it probably weren't for Inigo and Kubarsi. So very good job from Inigo. I think Kubarsi was also good. I think Inigo was better, but that doesn't mean Kubarsi wasn't good. I think he was very solid on the ball, pretty solid defensively. I don't think it was his best performance, but that doesn't mean it was bad in any way. He has a little bit of that ability to kind of create a penalty when someone is doing a fake shot and then moving to a different foot. He slides in there sometimes, and it's what happened today. It didn't count because it was offside, but it's something to look out for, and it's something he can get better at, but I still think he deserves a 7.5 for their ability to hold this high line so well. I think Koundé is part of the reason they're able to do that as well. He's very smart, he's a good defender, and he probably gives them a little bit more confidence to be able to hold that line. Now, Koundé also had that insane dummy for Pedri's goal, and for that, I think he deserves a 7.5 alone. But yeah, I think a 7.5 is very fair for Koundé, all things considered. And now going to the midfield, Casado. I think Marc Casado is brilliant. Every time I watch this kid, I'm so excited to see him in this side. He's so intense. He's exactly what we needed when Gavi was out, and he's a really pretty solid destroyer for someone who's like 5'9". So yeah, every day he impresses me at his ability to win balls back and look bigger than he is. And that's very important. When we don't have a ton of height in the middle, we need somebody who can win those balls back or shut down an attack. And he was really doing that today. 7.5, I'm going to give him an 8 because I think the midfield and most of that team has been so good and they all rely on each other to do that. I think he deserves the 8. Pedri, though, I'm going to give him my man of the match with an 8.5 because I think he was fantastic. He was one of the reasons we were able to be so creative. We were able to move the ball around so well. And I think that goal was, oh my God, beautiful. It was incredible. And that's not to say he was spectacularly better than everybody else, but I just really like Pedri, and I think he had a really, really good game today. I think an 8.5 and man of the match is deserved. But that now brings us to the attackers, and it will be a little bit of a different story here, but I think Lamine, Rafinha, and Lewandowski all deserve 8.5s as well. I think they were all fantastic. They all did separate great things. They were all different great things, but Lewandowski obviously scored 2. Scored a pen, it worked. I don't know if it was good or if it was bad. It went in, though, and that's what matters. And then he scored a pretty good finish on what was probably a shot from Rafinha, but it's not easy to deflect a shot in like that. It worked out, and I thought he linked up pretty well and did his job. Didn't spend the entire time on the floor, and when you score 2, you probably deserve an 8.5, and arguably man of the match. Lamine Yamal, I think that Trivela, man, I would have gone crazy if that went in, but overall, really solid game from him. Constantly beating his man, and it's like this is normal for us now. This isn't crazy, which every game I got to remind myself he's a child. Yeah, great job from him, and again, Rafinha, really good from Rafinha again, too. There were some moments where he was playing left back, which is wild because he's not a left back. He is just constantly impressing me, as most of these guys are, and easily deserves that 8.5. Fati being the odd man out, I don't think he was phenomenal. That doesn't mean it was bad. And that doesn't mean I don't think it's promising, because I do. I think there is a lot to work with here. I think his relationship with Balde is really exciting, and there's a lot to look forward to there too. I think they know what each other is going to do, and it looked like it made them both very comfortable. Balde still wasn't putting in the greatest of crosses. Ansu still wasn't the most threatening, though he did have a few chances that he missed. I think it's a solid performance from Ansu. I think it's a 6.5, 7. I'm going to give him a 6.5 just because he didn't finish off his chances or didn't finish them off very well. They were hard. There was a diving header and then a half volley. They're not the easiest, but maybe you expect him to at least give him a little bit of a better shot than he did. Overall, fine performance and something we can work with. I think he was probably better than Ferran Torres, but not spectacular. I don't want to go crazy here. But for our subs, I can go through this pretty quick. I think Fermin Lopez was solid. I don't think he had a ton to do, but he pressed well, won the ball back a couple of times, and really impressed me in those few seconds that he was on the ball. So I think a 7 is fair. Pau Victor, I'm going to give him a 7.5 because I think he was... Actually, no, I'm going to give him a 7 because he was really good on the ball, did a really good job linking up and creating chances. However, he missed a really blatant chance right in front of goal. Was it the easiest? Maybe not. The keeper was kind of suffocating him, but hey, when the net is that open and you're that close to goal, you probably expect it to go in, all things considered. Gerard Martin, I forgot he was on the pitch, so 6.5. That's my baseline for subs, and I think that's all he deserves. Pablo Torre, though, somehow walked out with 2 goals. I'm not exactly sure how, but I'm okay with it. The first goal was a really solid finish, and then the second goal, obviously, well done from him. I don't think it was intended, but hey, it worked out. The team scored, and we went up comfortably the second we conceded, and that's always good. And more importantly, so he gets an 8 for that. To walk out with 2 goals after being on the pitch for 14 minutes, that's impressive. But more importantly, if he didn't score that first goal, well, it might have been a few minutes later that we saw Gavi. So I'm very thankful to him. I'm incredibly thankful for Hansi for setting it up. So Gavi came in, grabbed the captain's armband from Pedri. It was such a beautiful moment. It was exciting. Everybody was standing up. I was standing up in New York. That's how excited I was. Is that ridiculous? Am I a grown man? Yes. Is that embarrassing? No, because this kid is so exciting. I'm so excited to watch him play football again. Just have him as a weapon in Hansi Flick's arsenal. It's very exciting to watch, and I'm really looking forward to the next few matches. I don't know if he gets a full 90. I think that's a little optimistic considering he came in so late today, but it can happen. And especially with Casado playing the full 90 today, maybe, who knows, we could see more of it. Overall, great match from all the guys. I think Hansi did a really good job of managing their minutes, and I'm excited for what's coming this week. I will be live on Big Up. The link will be at the top of chat. Make sure you sign up, create an account, and join my account because I'm trying to be the first or the second account, something on there to hit 1,000 members. But overall, thank you guys for watching. I am so excited to watch this week. Hopefully it all goes well. Fingers crossed, but we'll see. And yeah, I'll check you guys all out in a couple days, and make sure to sign up for Big Up in the description below. It's free, and I'll see all of you guys later. Peace.